coming back from wherever it was, he was kidnapped, which I really didn't believe, but there was always this in the back of my head of, well, what if this is true? But he and I had come to a lot of we came to like an understanding without an understanding. It's kind of like I knew that he wasn't really who he was, but at the same time we had this connection. There was a connection there. And he was really good at what he did. He was very manipulative and very uh, very charismatic over the phone. And this is a man that I'd seen pictures of what he was supposed to be. Now, that was questionable because he was kind of like every other man that you might see in the army. And that's what he was. And what he told me was like a career army person who was also like he was hired to do certain things, and he was always in another country. First he was in Turkey, then he was in uh, Africa, he was in all sorts of places. Now where it goes wrong is when I started doing things as far as illegal stuff for him. And basically, the legal stuff was forging documents. It was basically what we did was rob banks electronically. Um, for me, at that time, I think I was in denial of what what I was doing. But also, there was a thrill there. There was this thrill of getting away with something like that. Well, so the long story short is I did not get away with it for very long, and what happened was I wound up being charged and being caught by the police. They did not try to look into him. They didn't try to find him. And he was the one that had the money. I mean, a good, I'd say a good 90% of the money went to him. And so I did not have really the money. And then the job that I had at that time, I was fired from because of this. Because what I got was 8 theft charges. They were misdemeanors, but they were theft charges. And so even though I did give them a lot of information about him. And I also, they had my phone, they could look through my phone. I don't know how much they really knew about what they were looking for, though. I gave them also an address of where I was sending the money, which was in Texas. It wasn't in another country, it was in Texas. So here I am paying this price. And what price I'm paying is I can't get a job because of those misdemeanors. I lost my one good job that I loved. I was working as a CNA in a nursing home. A nursing home that I had worked at for 8 years plus. And now I have people telling me that I'm just not hireable because I have 8 theft charges. And it is that word theft. And the 8. Now I can explain to them, well, it wasn't against a person, it was more against an institution, but they still see me as a threat. And I don't know, maybe they should, but maybe that's the price I'm to pay for this. I should have gone to prison, honestly, and frankly, I don't know as if it wouldn't be a better thing because I have nothing but a few belongings, my sons who are reluctant in helping sometimes, and my cat. If it were not for my sons, I would be homeless. Now I am trying to also get on disability, and that's been a process, and that's mostly because, I honestly have been disabled for a little while, not for a little while, for years. But I worked, and I enjoyed working. I enjoyed my job. I enjoyed the people where I was working, and it was gut-wrenching to lose that. So, I guess my story is don't fall for sweetness. Don't, as if they start talking love after, or even if they start saying, I'd like to get to know you, I'm like, I don't trust anybody anymore. And that's another thing. is I can't trust anybody anymore. It's just impossible for me to trust. Am I still online? Yes, I'm on Twitter and I'm on Facebook. But if I ever get a friendship request from anybody who remotely says anything that is a flirt in a DM or in a text or a message, I block them because I can't trust. I can't trust them and I can't trust myself. I'm not sure what to say other than, when you're going through something like grieving or any kind of highly emotional time in your life, the experts say take a year before you make any big decisions. Take that year. Give yourself a year. Even though it may feel like your heart just needs to have that extra person in your life or that extra or that move. Wait. Do yourself a favor and wait. Have friendships. So that's my story. That's my piece of advice. And I hope that people can relate to this, can maybe see how important it is not to always lead with your heart, but to think things through. Not to always give in to your emotions. Stop and think. Have a good life. Thank you, everyone.